about 20 years ago, were asking people if they wanted to form a historical society. And I suppose I was in on that at the beginning, and that is still going 20 years later, although everybody said it wouldn't last. And my job is to find the speakers, which is quite a job, but we've got about 50 or 60 active members now and still growing, so that's good. And I attended various workshops and meetings organised by PLANED about community halls. And as a result of that, our community hall is now going to be rebuilt instead of refurbished. PLANED to me, I have a letter or some communication 2 or 3 times a week. It's quite amazing. I see the envelope come and I think, oh, this is going to be exciting. What are they offering now? You know, is this community stuff or valuing the environment, or what is it? You know, and I do get involved in a lot of those things. I love it.
We had these workshops, and it was all about village enhancement, bringing the community together, what we could do to improve the lives of the local inhabitants. And from that we produced the village appraisal, which gave us a list of things to possibly do. It started off with just like a few hanging baskets outside the village hall, to opening of the footpaths, tidying up of village greens, the common. And the boast of East Williamston is that we took it to heart. We started on page 1 and we finished on the last page, and we did everything.
The visioning process itself was brilliant. Several activities came forward from the visioning. Namely, we looked at recycling, gardening, biodiversity. We also looked at heritage. The major project that we've done in Clondowin is to refurbish the village hall. We are hoping to have an Edwardian festival to celebrate in 2013 the James Brothers' first flight from Brynhyfryd Farm in Clondowin.
We actually started with PLANED then in this very building, because we took this building over in the year 2000, and it had been a cowshed for 50 years. From the very start, PLANED have been most supportive of the project we've done here. And the wonderful thing about this project is that it's a community project. We're about 25 or 30 from the village and the parish of Carew, and this is one project that we feel very proud about, proud in a nice way.
PLANED first came to the village of Clondowin, and it was in a heritage group. And I was asked if I wanted to be involved. Thoroughly enjoyed myself there, made a lot of friends, and eventually we did an exhibition there.
I ni wedi wneud y gardd goffa, neu wedi glanhau'r maes parcio, wedi glanhau'r rhen yr eilwyd lle oedd cabanau. Yr eilwyd yn rhen amser, bro o'n i'n ifanc, o'n i'n mynd yna i ware darts a dderbyn os, wedi gwaith. Ond bellach oedd wedi tyfu'n wyllt, a trwy help PLANED ac eraill ni wedi wneud gardd fach hyfryd, a mae pobl, mae yna sedd picnic na, mae 2 sedd i chi eistedd na, mae yna bobl yn dod ar ei ffordd, mae nhw'n parcio yn y maes parcio, mae nhw'n gallu cael picnic, a falle mynd am gerdded. Ond i bai bod lle oedd y PLANED yn gallu cael arian i ni, bydden ni wedi gwareddu'r prosiectau yma o gwbl.
Just past a year ago, we opened up a footpath to the north of the village, which is one of the ancient walkways which eventually joins up with the Golden Road over on the Brisselli Hills. That was a big major project. Another project we're looking to open in the next year or so would be a cafe to support our Green Dragon walking bus. Being reasonably new to the area, it's helped me tremendously because I don't know where to find out things. And our PLANED officer has been wonderful in supporting them kinds of resources for me. And it's great because she knows who I go to for things when I need to go there.
Before anything happened, or any announcement took place at all, or any work was done in any village, and Begelly and Craigetti were no different, staff came along and actually went through a process of asking the villagers and the community what they wanted. And one of the desperate things they wanted in Begelly was a better footpath, because all the flagstones were all broken through the village, and that was another enhancement scheme that was done then through another part of the funding. They've established this village garden that's access 7 days a week, and there's now a children's play area there, there's a green gym and an activity area, and that's all due to PLANED and to the staff that we've been able to access.
In the November of 2009 we had the first meeting with Dilys and decided the terms of reference on which they would work, and they looked at the whole of South East Pembrokeshire and they came to the conclusion that the only viable form of renewable energy would be wind, and they identified certain sites after they'd gone through all their usual feasibility work. And we're looking, after the various costs that are involved, of having a project that could be putting £50,000 into the local community every year. Now, I need hardly add that without PLANED, none of this would have happened.
But the big thing I think we've gained from PLANED is the actual network, because we went to one of the PLANED Valuing the Environment meetings where we met Jo Horsley from Environment Wales, and she was talking to us then about grant funding. Because of that network, because we happened to be there on that day, because it was a PLANED Valuing the Environment thing, we actually got the funding.
I suggested that we ought to do something about updating the website, and ended up as a result in editing the newsletter. The newsletter had been in force, but it had died a death 3 or 4 years before. PLANED very kindly arranged to have an introduction to DTP, an IT specialist, come and spend an evening with us. We had an hour and a half or so with the journalist, and he gave us some tips on what we should be looking for when we're doing the newsletter. As far as I'm concerned, PLANED are a resource that I can use when I want something. I mean, they've prepared the website for the community halls in Pembrokeshire, which I think is brilliant. It saved us a problem in getting our own website up and running.
The key project that came out of the action plan, and indeed was the focus for a lot of the Objective 1 monies at that time, was the community hall, the hall that we're sitting in now. It was a hall that was a church hall that was built in 1936 that needed drastic renovation and extending, and it was high on the list of the community needs, really. Probably 8-10 years ago now, as an individual and indeed as a community, we started to engage with PLANED, and I think that was probably the catalyst, really.
Yn 2004, oedd angen edrych i dynnu'r gymuned ei gilydd, oedd y siopau wedi cael, yr swyddfa bost, y garej, a nawr yr ysgol yn cael hefyd. Felly ni moyn gwneud gweithgareddau yn y pentre, i weld beth oedd y bobl yn dymuno cael o ran y dyfodol. Felly oedd PLANED yn wneud y gwaith toolkit gyda'r gweithdai nos, felly dyna sut gychwynnwyd ar y berthynas gyda PLANED. Felly yn ystod y broses o'r weledigaeth a'r sesiynau gweithdai, oedd pawb yn meddwl bod nhw'n gret oherwydd oedd yr post-it notes yn mynd lan ar y wal, oedd pawb yn cael cyfle i roi gwybodaeth oedd yn berthnasol i nhw, oedd yr ifanc am gweld y parc cael chwarae yn cael ei ddatblygu, yr henoed am gweld rhyw adeilad i nhw gael cwrdd, felly oedd hi'n wych i weld gwahanol sectorau yn dod at ei gilydd.
The history group have done a lot of exhibitions and publications, etc. The business group, a lot of talks, a business directory, the tourist information point, which also includes business advertising on there, which is very successful, and hopefully that will expand out across Pembrokeshire. Another major success of the forum stroke business group is the Havens 10-day festival in June time, which is just finished its 3rd year and is growing all the time.
PLANED and its visioning process helped us to set up our first action plan in 1993, and that was very good. That helped to improve the appearance of the village, the seats to help people, and eventually to create, with the National Park, the car parks. So we've had the environmental group, the history group. We did for some time have a economic group to help with tourism and that sort of thing. But we've always had the full support of PLANED in helping other groups to work with the
as part of the community association.
Every time I've asked PLANED, they've come up with the goods.
Without PLANED, it would not have been on the cards at all.
Go in with ideas, embrace it and run with it, because PLANED will help you all the way down the line.
Do take PLANED on board, because without them we wouldn't have achieved anything that has happened.